Hey, how's it going? Lee Hayward here with the Total Fitness Bodybuilding video chat. Today, as always, I'm going to be hanging out here for the next hour answering any questions or topics of discussion related to building muscle, burning fat, and getting in your best shape. So if you are up for tuning in to the live video chat today and you have any questions or topics that you would like to discuss, feel free to post those in our video chat window, and I'll do the best that I can to help you out in any way over the next hour. This is kind of a unique time right now, right, that we're in with the whole situation that's going on. I mean, most people have been doing pretty well that I've been chatting with. Like, I've chatted to a lot of people, with regards to their workouts and their nutrition and stuff like that. And the people who've been reaching out to me, for the most part, have been doing quite well. I'm actually surprised by the feedback that I've been getting. Like, a lot of people have really taken to the home workouts, really committed to making the best of the situation. And I'm glad to see that. And one thing that I've been doing to really try and encourage that is every single day on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook page, I've been hosting a free follow-along live workout. Now, if you're a regular, you've seen these. I've shared it on my YouTube community tab, where when I do these workouts, I post it up there. And basically, how it works is we do a live stream, kind of similar to this, right? But it's a workout. So it's a live interactive workout where I'm going to take you through a complete training program. Usually lasts for a little more than an hour. And we cover different types of training. Like, it could be total body circuits, it could be a body part split, it could be conditioning training. Sometimes it's just abdominal and core training. Sometimes it's just flexibility and mobility training. But there's over 20, I think there's 25 workouts that I've done so far since this, the gyms have been closed down. So it's really caught on. I mean, I think a lot of people are following along with these workout routines that I do on a regular basis. And it's nice to see, because we get some of the core regulars coming in day after day, following along for a workout. So, like, literally after I do this video chat, I'm going to be doing another live workout on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook page. So if you're up for a workout later, feel free to join me. And all you have to do, if you're not already following me on Facebook, just head on over to Facebook and do a search for Lee Hayward's Total Fitness Bodybuilding, and you'll find the page there. And that's where I host the live stream from. And I also have links to it on my community tab on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel. So if you want to go just check out that, you'll see the links there as well, where you can go follow along with those live workouts. But it's been going quite well, I must say. It's nice to see the interaction and the positive feedback. And the cool thing about these workouts is it's not like a YouTube video where, okay, it's shot in advance and it's edited and it's posted and it's all that. It's real. It's raw. It's real. So, like, if you have questions during the workouts, like, we can modify and adjust the workouts in real time. We can chat in between sets. So it's just like a virtual workout, like I'm your virtual muscle building coach, taking you through a workout in real time, and we can chat about it and modify it. And we did that last night. And, like, when I went through the workout routine last night, some people said, like, oh, that exercise bothers my shoulder, or I can't do this movement because that doesn't feel right, or I don't have that particular piece of exercise equipment. What can I do instead? And so right there on the spot, we're modifying, we're tweaking, we're adjusting the workouts in real time, which is really cool to see. So again, if you're up for a workout later, feel free to join me. And even if you want to just tune into the replays, you can do that as well, right? Like, all the replays of our past 25 live follow-along workouts are up there. All right, so let's see who we got joining in today. We've got Jesse is joining in. Hey, how's it going, Jesse? Chris is joining in. Chris says, I've been watching you for the past 10 years. He's from over in England. Welcome. Glad to have you back joining in, and appreciate the support. I mean, that's awesome. I really appreciate that. I've never been to England. Like, I've never been to Europe. I've only traveled throughout Canada, the United States, Mexico, Cuba. Those are the only countries I've been to. Now, I've been throughout all across Canada, and I've been all across the United States. But I've never been overseas. I've never been across the big pond. So that is something that I would definitely love to do sometime. I would love to go over there. Who knows? When I do, I'll have to message you, right? Who knows? You could be my tour guide when I travel there. We got Lee joining in. Lee Dunnigan. Awesome. Glad to see you tuning in. Again, Lee's a regular of the following along with the video chats and the Facebook content and all that. We have Sue Fain, I believe it is. If I'm mispronouncing your name, I do apologize. Sue Fain, I believe, saying, do I have an Instagram? I do have Instagram. Just do a search for Lee Hayward on Instagram. I don't have a big following on Instagram. Of all the social medias, it's one of the ones that I just kind of just started recently. Well, I've had the account for about a year or more, but I don't really do a lot of just pure Instagram. Like Facebook and YouTube are my two big social medias. Those are the ones that I prioritize. I do post some stuff. Like what I'll do is I'll share some things that I do on Instagram there, but I'm not huge on Instagram. I don't know. I'm just old school, right? I like YouTube, I like Facebook, but I know I need to expand and broaden my horizons to some of these new social media platforms. Another one that I'd really like to get into is LinkedIn, right? Because I know a lot of people use LinkedIn as well, and that's becoming more and more popular. I haven't really focused much on that one either, but I do have an account on all of them. But again, if you want to follow me there, just do a search for Lee Hayward on Instagram. You should find me. All right. And Chris is saying, am I going to answer questions? Absolutely. That's the whole purpose of this video chat. I'm going to answer questions. So if you have any questions, Chris, feel free to post them there in the chat window, and I'll do the best I can to help you in any way. Okay, another question here. This is from the Experiment ASD saying, good morning. I'm training at home with dumbbells only. How do I know which exercise is a push or a pull? So I would do push pull legs routine with limited equipment since I'm not training at the gym. Okay. Actually, if you want to see a sample body part split routine, I have one posted up on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook page. We did one as part of our home workout routine, and that covered all the different major muscle groups. So there's a chest workout, there's back workout, shoulders, arms, legs, abdominals. So like all the major muscle groups did into a split routine. So if you like doing a split, you can incorporate that. But how do you know things are push-pull? The pushing muscles are the chest, shoulders, triceps. The pulling muscles are the back and the biceps, and of course, legs are anything from the waist down. That's how you break it up. So if you're going to do a push-pull legs, the push day is going to be chest, shoulders, tris. The pull day is going to be back and biceps, and the legs is going to be the legs. All right, that's how you break up a push-pull legs. Okay, and we have another question here. We have Abshnik. If I'm mispronouncing your name, I do apologize. He's saying he's 2 a.m. over in India. Well, welcome to the chat. I know you should be in bed by now. It's up past your bedtime, but hey, at least you're up here tuning into the video chat. I appreciate the support. Abhishek, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Frederick is joining in. He says, Lee, I eat CA, 200 grams of protein. How much of that protein can come from incomplete protein? I eat a lot of oatmeal, maybe 50 grams of protein from oatmeal. I'm not sure what you mean by I eat CA. I eat CA, 200 grams of protein. Unless it's I eat approximately 200 grams of protein. Maybe that's what you meant there. Okay. But anyway, how much of that can be, like, protein is protein. Like, it's still 200 grams of protein. Like, even the protein you're getting from oatmeal, it's still protein. It's still calories. It still counts. Like, it's not like your body, the protein from, a plant-based food source doesn't count, and protein from an animal-based food source does count, or what. Like, it's all protein. It all counts. It all adds up. It's all calories. You consume it all. You digest it all. You absorb it all. Like, just because this is so-called the complete protein with all the essential amino acids, and this only has so many of the essential amino acids, it doesn't matter. It still all gets absorbed. It all gets broken down, digested. All those amino acids go into your body and get stored in the body. So it will be utilized for energy, and the nutrients will be utilized for muscle growth, recovery, and all that stuff as your body needs it. Like, everything counts, right? It just doesn't evaporate, right? So as far as how much of it can you consume, like you consume it all. Like if you're eating 50 grams of protein from so-called incomplete sources, that's still 50 grams of protein that goes towards your total protein intake. So when you're adding up your macros, like let's just say you're trying to get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, you count all the protein, right? Whether that's regardless of the source. So in your case, let's just assume you're 200 pounds, you're eating 200 grams of protein. Good, right? Add up all your protein sources. It all counts. What else? Chris is here saying, I've lost a lot of size. Was that... Oh, sorry. He's asking about me. He says, you've lost a lot of size. Sorry, Chris. I'm brain farting here while I'm answering your question. You've lost a lot of size. Was that intentional by switching up, toning up? Without sounding nasty. Hey, no nastiness about it. I mean, I don't take no offense. I purposely lost a lot of size. Yes, I purposely went on a fat loss diet, and I've purposely trimmed down big time. Over the last couple years, I've lost 35 pounds, thereabouts, which is significant. I mean, it makes a big difference, especially, like you look at my old videos versus now, like 35 pounds makes a big difference, right? I've got a leaner face. I'm leaner and smaller all over. And I did that intentionally. I mean, first of all, I was way too fat. I was carrying way too much body fat. I mean, if you go to my website, right, and you can see some of my before and after pictures, I posted them there. It was not pretty. Like, I just got fat, and it was a bunch of things that caused me to get fat. Because first off, like, I was, former competitive bodybuilder, right? From 1995 is when I did my first bodybuilding show. Right up until 2011 is when I did my last bodybuilding show. So all through that time frame, I was, meathead bodybuilder, right? Like, I was always going through, like, off-season bulking, pre-contest cutting, off-season bulking, pre-contest cutting. And I did that year after year after year, for years, right? From 1995 all the way up to 2011. I was going through the whole bodybuilding phase. And once I stopped competing in bodybuilding, then I didn't have the motivation to stick to a diet, because when I was a bodybuilder, it was all or nothing, right? I was either following this crazy strict hardcore contest cutting diet, or there was no diet at all. And I'd always justify it saying, well, I'm bulking up, trying to get bigger for my next show. In reality, I was just letting myself get fat, right? Bulking is overrated, right? Just for everybody out there, bulking is so overrated, right? When people say they're bulking, really, they're getting fat. It's just a nice way of saying it. It's a way that you can justify getting fat. That's what bulking is, because the way the body works, you do not need a massive calorie surplus to build muscle. Like, you can build muscle in a calorie maintenance. You can build muscle in a calorie deficit. Like, you can only build so much lean muscle. All the excess calories you consume, it just gets spilled over into body fat. And I was as guilty as that as anybody. So I would purposely get fat when I wasn't on a strict diet. And once I stopped competing in bodybuilding, then I never had the dietary restraints. So I just kind of, year after year, I was kind of getting a bit fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter. And then, of course, in 2016, when my son was born, and that totally changed everything, because now it's not just me and my selfish time where I can go to the gym and work out whenever I want, and I can do whatever I want. Now all of a sudden I've got responsibilities, right? I have to be a responsible parent. And for those of you who have kids, you know that they take up a lot more time than you realize. Like, people who think you're busy and you don't have kids, you don't realize how much free time you have and how much time you're just wasting. Like, once you have kids, then everything is regimented. Like, you just can't drop things in a moment's notice and go do stuff. Like, everything has to be planned and structured and blah, blah, blah. Like, bottom line, I was wasting so much time. So then when my son came about, I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't going to the gym as consistently. I was eating like crap. And it was just because I was mentally and physically exhausted, right? Like, little things like, oh, I'm too tired to meal prep. I'll just order a pizza tonight. I'll get back on track with the diet tomorrow. And then, of course, tomorrow would roll around. I'll get back on track with the diet on Monday. And then Monday would roll around, and I'd say the same thing. And I keep getting pushed back further and further and further. When it comes to the workouts, very often I'd say, look, I'm just too tired. I'm exhausted. I'll work out tomorrow. And then, of course, tomorrow never came. And not that I stopped working out. I mean, I was still working out, but not nearly as consistent as I should have been. At best, I was just maintaining my muscle while slowly piling on body fat. And that happened for several years in a row until finally it got to the point where I was looking in the mirror and like, I do not recognize this fat slob looking back at me. I got to make some changes. And so over the last few years, well, it was around, when did I really get serious about this? I guess it was around in early 2018. That's when I said, you know what, I'm taking before pictures. And I did that. I took some pictures and I just had a good hard look at myself. And I said, I am not happy with this. I drawn the line in the sand. I said, no more, I'm making a change. So ever since 2018, I've something that it's been a work in progress, but I've really got it to the point now where I've mastered this system now of living a lean, healthy lifestyle without feeling like I'm on a diet. So, I mean, I'm comfortable with the shape that I'm in right now. I'm comfortable with my level of fitness, but it's not a burden. It's this is my new maintenance. This is my new set point. And it's such a cool feeling to be at that weight, going from extreme all or nothing to now having this point where I'm just at this comfortable point where I'm lean, not feeling like I'm deprived, and healthy, and feel so much better. So like right now, my current body weight is 185 pounds, and I feel great at this weight. To kind of put that in perspective, the heaviest that I let myself go back in my fat bulking days, I was up over 240 at one point. So I mean, down to 185 like that, yeah, that's a big drop, but I feel so much better, and I have no intentions of ever getting fat again. Like it's not worth it. I feel so much better at this weight, and I want to stay here. So that's a long-winded answer to your question about why I've lost size. that was from Chris. All right, so who else we got? We got Frederick's got a question there saying, upright rows, is it for the traps or should it be, upright row, is it for traps or should it good or better than shrugs for the traps? Upright row is a great exercise for the traps, the shoulders, and so the shrug is primarily a trap exercise. Like they're both good exercises. It's not like one is better or worse or whatever. Like they're both good exercises. You can either use one or the other. You can use both. You can alternate them. That applies to a lot of exercises. It's not that necessarily one exercise is better or worse. It really depends on you, your personal preference, and what works well for you. The shrug, obviously, you're going to be able to handle a lot more weight. It's a much smaller movement. It's literally just shrug, right? So you'll be able to handle a lot more weight. Whereas an upright row, it's more involvement with the arms and the shoulders and everything else. So, but you're going to handle much less weight. Again, it's not that one's better or worse. There's just two different exercises to work the traps and the upper back, right? Just the same as like a dumbbell, a fly, and a bench press. It's not that one is good, bad, right or wrong, better or worse. It's two different exercises, right? They both serve their purpose, right? So, I mean, you can incorporate shrugs and you can incorporate upright rows into your workouts. We have another question here. This one's from Gert. It says, Lee, I purchased one of the doorway pull-up bars, but I'm not strong enough to do more than two. What's the best way to modify it, or should I try a different exercise? Welcome to the world of pull-ups, my friend. Pull-ups is a hard exercise. It's hard for everybody. Like most people, the average person cannot do a pull-up. And I'm not just talking about like the average person on the street. I'm talking about like even the average person at a typical gym. Like you go into the gym and look at how many people can actually do pull-ups. And I mean, unless you're training at some high level, training center where you're dealing with like elite level athletes and stuff, the average gym goer, like Joe Blow, mom and pop who go in there to work out, lose weight, and get in shape, they can't do pull-ups. Like pull-ups is a hard exercise. You have to be able to lift your entire body weight. I mean, just put that in perspective. Like, let's just say you're 200 pounds. I mean, how many people can go over and put 200 pounds on the lat pull down and rep it out? Not many people, right? Pull-ups are a hard exercise. So, but there are ways to get around it. Like, I've got some videos up on YouTube that show pull-up variations for beginners, and it's modified pull-up exercises that you can do. So a good one, like if you have access to rubber resistance bands, you can incorporate those with your pull-ups. So how you would do it is, again, depends on the bands that you have, but you basically loop the bands around the pull-up bar, and you can use that to create your own assisted pull-up machine using rubber resistance bands. You can focus on negative pull-ups. How you would do that is you would get like a chair or a step, or if it's a doorway pull-up bar, you might even just be able to use your feet from the floor, where you use your legs to assist you to the top, and you just slowly lower down and focus on the negative. That's another great way to get better at pull-ups. You can also just focus on the partial repetitions. Like, there's a lot of strategies, but what I'd recommend you do is do a search for Lee Hayward pull-ups for beginners, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure on the exact name, but it's a video I put together a couple years ago. It's a YouTube video, and that's exactly what it shows. It's basically pull-up variations for beginners. But even if you just do a search on YouTube, or go to my YouTube channel and search for Lee Hayward pull-ups, you should find that video, right? And it'll show you some different variations that you can do to build up your pull-up strength. And what I recommend when you do get to the point where you can actually do some pull-ups, multiple sets of low reps. Stop your sets short of failure. And that will allow you to get more total pull-ups done over the course of your workout. Like, you don't want to be repping out to failure, because it's going to stress out your central nervous system and it's going to burn you out too quickly. I would rather you do multiple sets stopping short of failure. And that's a great way to increase the volume of pull-ups. So right now, you've mentioned you can do 2 pull-ups. Don't do 2 pull-ups. Like, literally just do singles. Like, grab the pull-up bar and do one rep. Take a couple minutes rest, do another rep, and just space it out like that. In fact, if you want, like, even while you're doing your workouts, like, you could be doing like training any body part for that matter. You could be doing, like a total body workout, or you could be doing like chest or legs or arms or whatever. And just in between each exercise, go over and do like 1 pull-up, just whether that's a full pull-up or maybe it's just a negative, right? But just space it out over the course of the workout. So let's just say you do 5 exercises. In between each exercise, you do 1 pull-up. Well, over the course of the workout, you just got 5 pull-ups, right? That's better than hitting the pull-up bar and hitting failure at 2, right? You space it out over the course of the workout. And what you'll find is, as you do that, you'll gradually be able to build up your volume more and more. And this is a strategy that I use to get better at pull-ups. Instead of just doing like a couple sets to failure, I would break it up over the course of the workout. So like in between each exercise, I would do just 1 mini set stopping short of failure. So for example, I might do like 5. This is what I would often do in my own workouts. Of course, the reps will vary depending on the individual, but I would usually strive to do 5 pull-ups in between each exercise. So if I did 5 exercises, then I just got an extra 25 pull-ups done over the course of the workout, right? I mean, there's no way I'd be able to do 25 in a single go, but by spacing them out over the workout, I got that volume of training in. And by doing that, I was able to gradually build it up and up and up to the point where now I'm doing, instead of just 25 pull-ups over the course of the workout, now I'm doing, say, like 50 pull-ups over the course of the workout. And when you get to the point where you're doing like that many pull-ups over the course of a workout, spaced out into multiple sets, of course, you're gonna have wide lats, right? The pull-up is one of the best exercises you can do to build up the back, right? You show me someone who's good at pull-ups, you're gonna show me somebody who's got a big back, right? That's one of the carries over. It's one of the best exercises you can do. So again, congrats on getting the pull-up bar. And the thing is now is you just want to be consistent with it and build it up slowly and progressively. And hopefully those videos that I mentioned help with that. Got Lee Dunnigan joining in. He says, I make a smoothie every day. Milk, blueberries, strawberries, banana, etc. Is this too much sugar to consume, as I've been reading conflicting information? It depends on what your diet, what it is you're training for, and everything else. Like, first off, eating natural foods, blueberries, strawberries, bananas, that's fantastic. Like, fruit is good. I would much rather you eat natural, unprocessed foods like fruit and vegetables versus processed junk. Like that, when you consume fruit, I mean, yes, there is sugar in fruit, don't get me wrong, but there's vitamins, there's minerals, there's fiber, there's so much more volume. Like if you eat like a banana, which has about 30 grams of sugar, versus if you eat 30 grams of sugar from gummy worms or jelly beans or some sort of crap, like The banana is giving you vitamins and minerals and fiber and nourishment, whereas the candy is giving you nothing other than pure empty calories. So get your sugar from fruit. It's healthy, it's good for you, it's more satiating, it's more nourishing. I eat a lot of fruit. I love fruit. And I mean, you can eat fruit as part of a fat loss diet. It's there's nothing wrong with the sugar as long as you are keeping the calories in check, right? Like it's calories in versus calories out. At the end of the day, that's what matters. So as long as you're in, like, if your goal is fat loss, assuming it is, as long as you end the day in a calorie deficit, then you can still burn fat and you can still eat fruit, right? So I mean, fruit's great. And to really drive it home, the foods that you just mentioned, the banana, that's fairly calorie dense, like that is. The blueberries are not so much. The strawberries are very low in calories. Like, look at the nutritional information of a strawberry. It is very low in sugar and very high in fiber. So I mean, the strawberries of all those, like, that's the lowest in calories, the lowest in sugar. So if you want to even tip the ratio of volume of smoothie versus the least amount of sugar, put in more strawberries in with that smoothie, and you'll get more volume with less sugar. Strawberries are awesome for that. Like, they're a fantastic diet food if you want to look at it that way. Like, mix up a blender smoothie with frozen strawberries and like a protein shake with frozen strawberries. I mean, you can just throw in the frozen strawberries, mix it up nice and thick to the point where you're eating with a spoon. Tastes like ice cream. But again, very low in calories, very low in sugar, because strawberries are they're very high volume, low calorie dense foods. An awesome food for filling you up and giving you a lot of eating satiation without a lot of calories. But yeah, don't shun away from fruit. I mean, fruit is good. I eat a lot of fruit myself, and that's something that I've really, uh, in this phase of my fitness and fat loss transformation, that's something that I've adopted, where I fill up on real food, right? Fruits, vegetables, real protein food like meat, fish, chicken, eggs, dairy. Like, fill up on the real stuff, and it gives you the volume of food you want, it gives you the eating satiation you want, and try and keep the processed junk food to a minimum. And if you just do that, if you just make that a habit, like, that will go so far into improving your health and fitness and nutrition. It's hard to get fat eating fruits and vegetables. Like, you will never see an overweight person, like someone who's like 300 pounds plus, like sloppy, fat, obese. Like, you will never see an obese person say, "Oh man, I got to cut back on the fruits and vegetables, right? I ate too many fruits and vegetables, and look at me, I'm 300 pounds." No, like, it doesn't happen. Never. You do not get fat because you eat too many fruits and vegetables, right? You get fat because you eat too many pies and cakes and chips and crisps and fried foods and all you can eat buffets and pizza and beer and burgers and French fries and ice cream. Like, that's where you get fat, not because you ate too many fruits and vegetables and berries. No, it doesn't work that way. All right, what else we got? But there's another question there. Sir, can you tell me something about surgery for gynecomastia? I mean, not the proper man boob, but just a little lump sensitivity in that area. All right, I've never had surgery for gynecomastia, so I really am not the best person to discuss surgery for gynecomastia. Talk to your doctor. That's what I would suggest. Talk to your doctor, or get some recommendations. I really don't have any personal experience on that, so I'm not the person to ask. Right? I mean, I can't really go into any more detail than that. We have John Doe joining in. It says, Lee, I tend to lean forward in the squats and I feel it in my knees. Any suggestions? All right, leaning too far forward. I actually have several video tutorials on YouTube covering squat technique. One, just do a search for Lee Hayward. I think it's called Squat Technique Critique. Lee Hayward Squat Technique Critique. You should find it. It's a detailed video where actually one of my subscribers sent me a video of him squatting, and he kind of had that same tendency where he leaned too far forward, and I played the video back in slow motion and kind of like broke down his technique and said, all right, this is what's good, this is what's bad, and then I did side by side and shown him the right way, and it's a good video just explaining some common technical errors when it comes to squatting. Another one that can be helpful as well if you have trouble squatting, box squats. Box squats is a great way to learn how to squat. And I have a video about that as well. Just do a search for Lee Hayward box squat. You should find that one. But ultimately, if you try these different variations and you still don't like squats and if it doesn't feel right to you, then you don't have to squat. Like, you don't have to do any exercise. If you don't like squats, then don't feel obligated to squat. You can do other exercises instead. Like leg extensions and leg presses and leg curls and deadlifts and lunges, and like there's so many exercises you can do. You don't have to get hung up on a particular exercise if that movement doesn't feel right for you, causes pain, discomfort, or you just have difficulty performing it, right? And that applies to any exercise, right? Like, some people are out there saying, oh, like the squats are the king of exercises, everybody has to squat. No, you don't, right? There's a lot of pro bodybuilders who have built world-class legs and do not squat. So don't feel like you have to squat, right? The only time you would have to squat is if you're a competitive powerlifter who that's one of that's the competition. That's one of the 3 power lifts, right? You have to do it because of that. But other than that, like just for the sake of building up muscular legs, there's other exercises you can do. Now, personally, I like squats, right? I mean, I do them. I like them. I find that I've learned them over the years, and I have built up the mobility and the flexibility and everything else that I can do them comfortably. But it wasn't an easy process. Like, it took me several years to actually get comfortable squatting. Like, when I started training, I could not do a full squat. Like, I sucked at squats. I mean, and I leaned forward too much. I would lock up going halfway down. I felt so awkward doing them because it is a bit of an awkward exercise. It takes time to build up the flexibility and the mobility and the confidence to actually do a full, like full range of motion squat. And it took me several years to develop that. But I've been doing this for a long time, and now I'm at the point where, yeah, I enjoy squatting and I can do it comfortably. But it's not something you're just going to pick up, with snap of a finger and like, hey, I'm a master squatter, right? It's something that takes time to develop. So again, work on it. Like, you can try these different variations, but ultimately, if it doesn't feel right for you, then feel free to swap in other exercises instead. You don't have to squat if it doesn't feel right. Okay, what else we got? The calf workout you posted up the other day is great. That one's from James. Glad you like it. I think we got a couple more of those critical bench videos. Like, these are videos that I shot back in February when I was down in Florida. We shot a whole bunch of videos together, and of course, just through the jigs and the reels, obviously didn't get a chance to have them all edited. Like, that's something you'll notice. Like, a lot of the video, I've got a lot of video footage just saved on my computer that it's never been edited yet. So it's something that I'm going to get into. Like, there's a lot of workout videos that I'm almost like hesitant to release at this stage of the game because like it's not applicable for so many people because they're all gym workout videos and like the gyms are closed. I'm almost like thinking maybe I should wait to release those videos when people can actually go to the gym again. But I don't know. Maybe I'll see. I might. It all depends. I might release them. I've got some videos, in the works right now that are more relevant to our current situation. Videos that I've made, since the gyms have been closed down and kind of like talking directly to that. So I kind of want to make the videos more timely. When we can go back to the gym again, then I'll start releasing all those gym workouts. Like, I've got a whole workout series that I shot with my father covering a beginner's 3-day workout program. It's basically a beginner's 3-day get back in shape workout program. And it's geared towards men over 40. In my father's case, he's over 60, but more mature guys who are trying to get back in shape, build muscle, lose the gut, and do so without beating up and damaging their body. So we're not placing any, we're not putting our bodies at risk of injury or pain or anything like that. We're just focusing on good, solid workouts that are going to help to stimulate growth, but be safe and, reduce the risk of injury in the process. Because, yeah, the older you get, the more you have to respect your body. It can't take the same wear and tear and shit and abuse that it did when you were younger, right? I've learned that lesson the hard way. But again, glad you like the videos. I do appreciate that. All right, let's see what else. Um, Let me see if there's any other. All right. What other? I'm just scrolling through here trying to find my spot here. Now I'll see. Chris says he's turned into a powerlifting physique. I've turned into a powerlifting physique since having kids. Yeah. Now that's like it's true. Like a lot of powerlifters do put on a lot of extra weight because I mean having some extra weight on your frame, like even if it's extra fat, can help make you stronger. But with that being said, there are some powerlifters who are exceptionally lean, especially you see some of the smaller guys who are dieting down to make certain weight classes, right? I mean, you can see powerlifters who are lean and defined and still strong, right? Like you don't have to use the fact that you're powerlifting as an excuse to get fat, right? You can still stay lean and make good strength gains in the process. But like when you look at like the super heavyweight powerlifters or like even strongman competitors, like when you're pushing the pure envelope of just sheer strength, bigger is stronger, right? Even if it's not all lean weight. That's why like you're looking at like world's strongest man competitors and stuff. I mean, they just want to be as big as possible and they're shoveling down massive amounts of food just to pack on weight because that weight helps, right? I mean, even if it's extra body fat, it creates more stability and it just helps to aid with just that pure raw strength. Now, pound for pound, it's not better, like if you're looking at the strength ratio, but in terms of just pure raw strength in general, bigger is better, right? Like I was at my all-time strongest when I was up in that 240-pound range, but I didn't feel good physically. It certainly wasn't healthy, and I mean, pound for pound, it wasn't good, right? But I was strongest in terms of like my best one rep max bench, best one rep max squat, deadlift, all that kind of stuff. We've got Jacob joining in from over in Thailand. Welcome, Jacob. And again, Saturday morning for you, Friday afternoon for me. Tyler joining in, saying, is it possible to lift heavier and gain more strength and size while intermittent fasting? Would love to do it, but I'm afraid I'll lose the strength I already have. There's all kinds of different strategies. Like if you're asking, can you make gains in terms of build muscle while losing body fat? Yes, you can, but again, it really depends on the individual situation, right? Like if you're more advanced with your training, then let me just give you an analogy. Like let's just take like a professional bodybuilder who's in their off season, they're eating, a calorie surplus. They're in a mass building phase. They're strong, they're full, and then they switch to a fat loss cutting diet. In that transition, you're probably going to lose some strength. You're probably going to lose some fullness because as you lose body weight, you're going to lose some of that, that pure strength that's backing up those lifts. But if for an average person, like someone who's overweight and out of shape, it's quite possible to burn body fat and build lean muscle simultaneously, right? So as far as the actual numbers, I'd really need to know more about you, your situation, the level you're at with your training. Like, it's not like this one size fits all cookie cutter approach. Like, everybody's at a different stage, right? Like, what would apply for a beginner who's just getting back into working out is going to be totally different than someone who's been, consistent for the last 10 years and they're stuck in a plateau and they're trying to like take things to the next level, right? And it's going to be different for someone who's like in their 20s versus someone who's in their 50s, right? Like, so if you would like some help, like to actually come up with a strategy to kind of like brainstorm some ideas and come up with a training and a nutrition program and just basically a schedule that works for you, send me an email, right? My personal email address is leeh@leehayward.com. Feel free to send me a message and, we can have a chat back and forth and just see if we can come up with a strategy that works for you. Because again, everyone's situation is unique. I mean, I try and with these videos kind of give some general guidelines, but when it comes to the specifics like that, as far as, the specifics for you in terms of your diet and your training and everything else, that really depends on you, your fitness level, and I need to know more information to give you a proper answer, if you will. So that's something that we can discuss, offline through email. Let's see what we got. Chris is saying, thanks for the answer. Do you have any chance for a workout? Any chance in a workout for shrugs, isolating the lower traps, totally shrugging as usual, using heavy rack pulls? I'm going to tell you something, Chris. When it comes to shrugs, that is such a versatile exercise, and most people do not take advantage of the true potential of the shrug, and they just think of shoulder shrugs. But shrugging can be all forms of retraction of the shoulders. Like you can shrug forwards, you can shrug backwards, you can shrug up. You can do like overhead shrugs where you actually hold like a barbell overhead and shrug up without actually like. There's so many different. You can do shrug rows. There's a book. I don't know if I have it on my shelf anywhere. I don't. I do have it, but it's probably buried away somewhere. But it's called the Kelso Shrug Book or Shrug Program. Shit, just do a Google search for Kelso. I believe it is KELSO Shrug Program or Shrug Book. Or if you just start Googling it, you'll find it, because you know the way Google is. It'll give you all the suggested searches and stuff. But Kelso Shrug Book or Kelso Shrug Program. If anybody knows what I'm talking about in the chat, feel free to post it in the chat there as well. This is an old book, it's been around for years, and it's just a little thin book, maybe like 100-page booklet type thing. That's all. It's not a big one, but it goes into so many different shrug variations that you can use to build up the entire upper body. So, I mean, you can use shrug variations to build up your chest. You can use shrug variations to build up your shoulders, to build up your lats, and just to help build so much strength and stability throughout your body. It's not just a shoulder shrug. Like you can do so many different shrug variations for whatever it is that you want to target. So get that book. It's a simple read. There's a lot of pictures in it, a lot of diagrams, a lot of explanation, but it just it'll open your mind to like this simple exercise, the shrug, which a lot of people just think is just one movement, and it'll show you like, no, the shrug is literally dozens of potential exercises that you can do, to build up your body. So get that. I mean, it's a good read. You should be able to order it on Amazon or somewhere like that. What else we got? Baby Boomer Fitness joining in. Howdy, how's it going? Welcome. They're saying that doing your yin and yang schedule works great. That's cool. That is such a simple but powerful way to structure your workouts. And like say, what I mean by this yin and yang, it just means high intensity weight training one day, low intensity cardio the next. High intensity weight training one day, low intensity cardio the next. So you get to exercise every day, but you're exercising and working with your body's natural recovery, because on the weight training days, you're breaking your body down, right? You're stressing the muscles, you're breaking them down. On those low intensity cardio days, that's the active recovery, right? It's gentle exercise, it's movement, it's blood flow, it's circulation. You're still getting the benefits of exercise, you're still burning calories, but it's active recovery. It's allowing the body to build up, and just the alternating weight training, cardio, right? High intensity weight training, low intensity cardio. Such a brilliantly simple system, but it works so well. And that's something that, like most of my coaching students, that's what I recommend them start with. It's just such a great way to get daily exercise without breaking your body down, right? It allows you to stay active and stay rejuvenated and enjoy the process. I still follow it to a degree, even though I have to be honest, since this whole quarantine shutdown, I've been working out more, not less. I've been doing more home workouts. Now, granted, they're not all heavy, heavy barbell lifts. A lot of them are body weight workouts and stuff like that. But I've been actually doing more strength training workouts since the gym have closed, just because I enjoy it. I mean, I typically, like on an ideal day, I work out twice a day. I do one cardio workout and one strength training workout. A slow day is just if I do one or the other, right? I almost consider it's a day off if I only do cardio or if I only do strength training. But normally I'm trying to do both. Earlier in the day, I'm doing the cardio. Like if it's nice out, I'll get outside for a bike ride or go outside, walk my dog or something like that. And then do my follow along home workouts on Facebook. That's what I've been usually doing. And then of course, if it's an easy day for me, then I'm only doing one or the other. But I find it's actually helped me to deal with, the stress of the situation, right? I mean, it's because, let's face it, this is weird, uncertain, stressful times. And if somebody tells you like it's not bothering them at all, I think they're BSing you, because of course it's bothering you. You can't do the stuff you normally do. I mean, even just going to the store now is a big ordeal. Like, I went to Costco this morning. What would normally take me like half hour tops, right, to run in and out of the store, pick up my groceries and go on. It took me 2 hours because I had to line up around the building and wait, and then they're only letting in so many people at a time, and then there's all these delays and the social distancing and spacing people out at the cash registers, and they're only opening up so many cash registers. Like, they only open up every second cash register to have more social distancing between people, and there's a like you can't just relax and go to the store anymore. Like, you're on edge because you're afraid. Like, oh my God, am I going to touch something? Or am I going to get in contact with somebody? Like, what if that person sneezes the virus over to me? Or like, everybody's feeling the stress, right? Everybody is feeling the stress of the situation to some degree, right? I'm not saying that you're stressed out and depressed or anything like that, but I mean, this is a stress that we're not used to dealing with. Right? So it's an added on. And one of the ways that I deal with it is daily exercise. I find just getting outside in nature, especially out for those walks, just helps me. Like, that's my active meditation, to get outside in nature, breathe the fresh air, just be at one. Like, sometimes I'll go down by the ocean, right? We've got some beautiful walking trails down by the ocean. Sometimes I'll get out in the woods and I'll just get up there in the trees, listening to the birds chirp and just the wind blowing through the trees. I mean, it feels so good. And like, that is just my time to detox, to be at one and get the exercise, still getting exercise, burning calories and everything else, but it just like totally de-stresses me at the same time. It's my me time and I really enjoy it. And it's not just something I like to do, it's something I feel I have to do. Like, I have to exercise every day. If I didn't, I think I'd go batty. I'd go nuts. I'd be looking for other forms of distraction if it wasn't for daily exercise. I like a lot of people are, right? Seeking forms of distraction through junk food, through alcohol, through binge watching TV, or playing stupid games on your phone or iPad or whatever. Like, I'd rather get my distraction through exercise. All right, what else we got? Paul is joining in. When cutting, is it better to eat in a deficit every day? Well, that is kind of the definition of cutting. You have to be in a deficit, right? If you want to burn body fat, you have to have a deficit. Now, there's different ways to go about it. Like, you can have a calorie carbohydrate cycle diet where some days you're in a deficit, some days you're not. But to keep it simple, just start off every day in a deficit. Seriously, just have a small deficit. It doesn't have to be a big one. Like whatever it is you normally eat now, just scale that back by 200 or 300 calories, and just do that for a couple weeks. See how your body responds. Right? Just eat a little bit less, exercise a little bit more. Boom. Don't make it any more complicated than that. Try that for a couple weeks. See how your body responds. If it works, great. If it's not working, then you can modify it and tweak it. But don't take this all or nothing approach. Like, so often I see people. This is especially common, like, as around the big goal setting time, like New Year's, for example, like the New Year's resolution. This is when people make the most ridiculous, stupid mistakes when it comes to fat loss, because they're so guilty from binge eating and getting fat over the holidays that when New Year's rolls around, they're like, oh, that's it, no more. I'm getting my shit together, right? I'm going to go on the diet. So then they'll start on this crazy restrictive starvation diet, or low carb, or keto, or fasting, or detox, or whatever stupid diet they decide to go on. Then they'll go on this all-in restrictive, like they're normally eating like 3 and 4 and 5,000 calories a day, and then they're like, no, I'm eating 1,200 calories a day. I'm like, why? And then like they go from no exercise to like, I'm going to work out 2 hours a day. So they make this big 180 unrealistic shift, and then they do that for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they end up getting burnt out or injured or starving themselves, and then you can't stand the cravings anymore, and then they binge and go back to their old habits. Like, you can't force yourself. You have to take it in little baby steps. It has to be such a small, gradual change so that you can maintain it and actually enjoy it. So To start off a cutting diet, like the first step I want you to do, if you, for those of you, all right, you're looking for, okay, how do I start a cutting diet? For the next week, just write down everything you eat. Don't even change anything. Just write it down. Just write down what it is that you eat in the run of a day. Like if you eat a tub of ice cream, then write down I ate a tub of ice cream, right? Like if you eat a pizza pocket, you write down I ate a pizza pocket, right? If you eat a bag of chips, and put down a bag of chips. If you ate chicken breasts, and put down chicken, like whatever. Write down everything you eat and just have a review of it. So you're actually aware of what goes in your body. Because most people, yes, you're eating it. So I mean, you're obviously you're aware of it because you're physically eating it. But like when you have it there and you actually review it and look at it on paper, like, holy crap, I actually ate all that. Like, whoa, that's a lot of food. That's a lot of crap, right? When it's documented, then it becomes more real, right? It kind of like registers. And I'm going to tell you, like, even if you did nothing else but just write down what you ate, subconsciously, you would eat better because you would not want to be in the habit of writing down crap all the time, right? Like, if you had to write down and record everything you eat, like, you would say, well, man, I don't want to write down, right, another bag, another tub of Ben and Jerry's ice cream on my list here. I don't want to write that down anymore. So maybe I just won't eat it. Like seriously, you would make subconscious decisions to eat better just by the fact of writing it down. Even if I told you to make no changes, you would subconsciously make changes because you wouldn't want to do that. But do that first. Just write it down so you have a record and you get an idea of what you eat. And then just look at how can you cut it back a little bit. Like if you normally eat a full tub of ice cream every evening after supper, and then you say, well, you know what? Hey, for the next week, I'm just going to eat half a tub of ice cream. That's progress. Like as crazy as it is, that's progress, right? You've just drastically cut back the volume of calories that you consumed. You're still eating crap, but you've eaten less of it. And like that's the type of progress you need to make. It's like little tiny baby steps. Instead of trying to go from this all or nothing, like I'm going to go from eating pizza and burgers and fries and junk to I'm going to eat boiled chicken and broccoli. Like, no, that's too big of a jump. You can't sustain that kind of a jump, right? It's not sustainable. It's not realistic. You need to break it down and take it in small, manageable steps so that the transition doesn't overwhelm you, right? It's like imagine someone you've never. Let me give you another analogy or whatever. Like you take someone who's never been to school before, right? You've never, someone who's going back to school, they've never studied, they've never done anything, and you expect them, okay, I want you to start studying for 5 hours a night, like from 0 to 5 hours a night. No, that's too much, right? Your brain can't absorb all that information, right? It's just going to be bogged down. Like, how about you start with studying for like 20 minutes and build it up from there, right? Start off small and progress. That's where most people screw up, is they don't start small and they just think they have to go from all or nothing, right? So small, steady progression would make such a huge difference. And then just monitor it based on how your body responds and then adjust it accordingly. It's as simple as that, right? This is stuff that I work with all the time when I'm, coaching people one-on-one. And sometimes I have to like hold them back, like hold the reins back because people want to do too much too soon. And I say, you know what? You can do too much too soon, but guess what? You're going to burn yourself out. It's not going to be sustainable. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to get frustrated, and you're going to go back to your old eating habits and start binge eating and gain all the weight back. And it's going to be all for naught. Like, what's the point of going, like, starve yourself for 3 months, lose 30 pounds, and then binge and gain 40 pounds back? Like, you'd be better off if you didn't do a darn thing and just stayed the same versus binging and yo-yo dieting up and down. Like, you need to change the habits and the lifestyle choices. And that's what I really focus on when I'm helping people personally. But anyway, I know that was kind of a long-winded rant, but to your question, Paul, just start off with a basic small calorie deficit each day. Don't make it any more complicated than that. There's always room to make it more complicated when the time needs to. Like when you get to that phase, you can always make it more complicated, but don't start there. Start with the basics. Learn to walk before you run. John Doe is saying, working out at home, I take more than double the time to finish the same workout. Would this impede the results? Well, it's not quite as productive because you're not getting the same unit of the same volume of work done in a unit of time. See, there's different ways of progressive overload. You can either lift more weight, do more repetitions, do more sets. So you're actually doing either more volume in terms of more volume of weight, more volume of sets, more volume of reps, or you can do the same volume in less time. So if you are taking twice as long to do the exact same routine, then you actually reduced your work output by half, meaning you're doing less. You're not doing the same volume of work in the given unit of time. So I just look at it another way. Let's say I ran 1 mile in 10 minutes, or I ran 1 mile in 20 minutes. Right? Like, obviously, to do it in 20 minutes is a lot easier than doing it in the 10 minutes. I'm going at a much slower pace. Now, granted, you're still doing the volume of work, but it's not as intense. So in your case, if you're spacing out your workouts and you're taking twice as long to do the same workout, it's not the same volume or the same intensity that you're training at. I'm not saying that is good or bad. I mean, heck, the fact that you're working out, that's good, but it's not placing the same demands on the muscle as if you were doing the same volume of training in a shorter unit of time, right? Because that's one element of progressive overload that you're not focusing on right now. Now, is it good or bad? Again, the fact that you're working out, I mean, as long as you're working out consistently, you're not going to lose progress or lose gains, because as long as you're working out consistently. But you really need to kind of just look at the bigger picture of what it is that you're trying to achieve at this stage of the game. I mean, if you're just trying to lose weight, get in shape, feel better, stress reduce, hey, keep doing what you're doing, right? You can still make progress. But if you're actually looking for like sport or athletic performance progress, you might want a bit more structured routine there. But again, this is something that we can chat about. If you have questions, hey, send me an email. We can discuss this, because this is where it all depends on the individual, right? Like, if I was having a conversation with a competitive athlete, it's going to be a totally different conversation about training than if I was talking to a 55-year-old man who says, look, I just want to lose my gut and get back in shape and not die of a heart attack. Like, they're two totally different scenarios. It's not that one is right or wrong. They're at different stages of the game, right? It's just to put it in another perspective. Imagine if we were talking like teaching someone how to drive a car. If you're taking a teenager who's never driven a car before and you're just showing them how to drive so they can get their license and drive, versus if I'm teaching a professional race car driver, like, do you think the conversation is going to be different versus, teenager, never been behind the wheel before, professional race car driver who's trying to shave a half a second off his lap time? Like, there's two totally different conversations. Like, we'll be talking about things with the race car driver that the teenager wouldn't even be able to comprehend, because they don't even understand that yet, right? Same when it comes to workouts. Like, a competitive athlete or a competitive bodybuilder, the level of training and the depth that we would go in that situation is going to be way different than someone who's just trying to lose weight, get in shape, and improve their health so they don't die of a heart attack, right? Two totally different scenarios. It's not that one is right or wrong, better or worse, good or bad. It's just different scenarios. And that's why I don't like to give one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter answers to workout questions until I know the full scope of who I'm answering the question for. So again, if you want some help with this, send me an email. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you, and we can discuss some strategies that are applicable to you and your situation and your lifestyle and your goals. We got Ross joining in. Welcome, Ross. How is it going? He says, I have no weights, so I've been doing squats with sandbags and bench presses with tiles and sandbags, bicep curls with a broom and a heavy bag, tricep dips, overhead presses with sandbags, etc. You know what? I respect that. I respect you for making the best of what you have available and staying consistent regardless. And as crazy as all that stuff is, you're probably going to see some strength gains. You're actually going to make some progress, because lifting all those weird, awkward objects is going to help to stimulate unique muscle stimulation, right? Like, lifting a sandbag, this big, awkward thing overhead, versus lifting a barbell or a dumbbell is going to feel totally different, right? Like, anybody who's done any functional, like, strength work where you're lifting awkward objects, sandbags or kegs or tires or stones or whatever, right? You know, like that feels totally different than lifting barbells and dumbbells and machines, right? So again, Ross, kudos to you, my friend. I respect you for doing what you're doing. And as crazy as it is, you're actually probably going to come out of this stronger and better because of it, because of this unique training that you're doing. Let's see what else we got there. Okay. We have Javier joining in. Says, recently I did biceps along with chin-ups for the past 30 days, and now I feel a very small pull on my forearm when supinated. Could it be that I overtrained? Blah, 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 blah. You have the start of elbow tendonitis, is my prediction. And that is very common, especially you've been doing those pulling exercises consistently day after day after day. You probably just overstrained the tendons, and that is a sign of elbow tendonitis. There's two forms of elbow tendonitis. We have the tennis elbow, which is the outside portion of the elbow right there, and then you have the golfer's elbow, which is the inside portion of the elbow right here. It's technically not the elbow; it's in the forearm, but it's right around the elbow. And I'm actually experiencing a wee bit of tendonitis, tennis elbow right here. It's this kind of part of my forearm right up here on the outside. It's just this dull, nagging, achy pain when I do certain movements. And that's been actually flaring up for me. So I've been extra cautious with my workouts, trying to work around it the best I can. But that's probably what you've done. So what you can do is, obviously, if any exercise causes pain or discomfort to that area, don't do it. So in your case, you might have to change up the chin ups and the curls and whatever it is you were doing. I think that's what you said. You were doing 30 days of chin ups and biceps. So yeah, you're going to probably have to change it up. Now, maybe you could just change up the angle or the hand position, right? For example, like instead of doing regular bicep curls with, supinating and having your palms up, maybe you try doing hammer curls, right? Where you keep your thumbs up, right? Just do a hammer curl variation. That could change up the angle and might allow you to train the muscles without aggravating the tendonitis that you've got flared up. When it comes to the chin-ups, maybe you try doing an overhand pull-up instead of a chin-up. Or maybe if you can, do like a parallel grip instead of an overhand grip, or just play around with some different variations to see if you can work around it. If you can't, then you might have to just change up the exercise entirely. But see if even different hand positions allow you to work around it without causing, those tendons to flare up. But you might even need just to take some time off, right, and just let those rest and recover. It's really an individual thing. Like there's not like this one size fits all answer, because it depends on how bad the injury or the tendonitis is. But that's what you've got. You've got the roots cause the start of some elbow tendonitis going on there. So and chances are it's from the frequent repetitive work that you've been doing, like 30 days in a row now doing the same exercises. It's the repetitive movement pattern that's causing some problems. So even if, like, in moving forward, if you alternated where you're doing different muscle groups on different days, or you're doing like weight training one day, cardio the next, like the yin and yang program that I mentioned before, that could help alleviate some of those problems from occurring. All right, so we're over an hour now, so I'm going to get ready and clue it up. There's only a few more questions there, so I'll just answer those few that we have. We've got, I believe it is Ron joining in, or Ruan, R-U-A-N. So love your videos. Thanks. How often do you have good stretching sessions? I personally recommend stretching out the muscles that you just trained after every workout. So like if you train back, take a few minutes to stretch out your back. If you train legs, take a few minutes to stretch out your legs. Like after every workout is a good time to do some static stretching for the body parts that you trained. And if you want some guidelines to follow, just head over to the main Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel, open up the playlist tab, do it after this video is finished, of course. Go to the main channel page, open up the playlist, and you'll see there's a stretching playlist that covers stretches for all your major muscle groups. There's stretches for the chest, the back, the shoulders, the arms, the legs. Right, follow that. So whatever body part you train, just take a few minutes and do those stretches for that body part, and that'll make such a big difference. It'll help to aid with recovery. It'll help to improve your mobility. It'll help to aid with muscle growth. Like stretching is such an underrated aspect of training. Like like most people will do, okay, the weight training. Most people will do the cardio. Most people probably focus on their warm up and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the stretching, that very often gets pushed off as, ignored. But adding all these different elements, right? The strength training, the cardio, the mobility, the stretching, the warm ups, all that, like it all plays a role, and it can all help to enhance the bigger picture of your overall health and fitness. Let's see what else we've got. We've got Azim joining in. Azim's a regular. Says, I do assisted pull-ups in the gym. My house doesn't have anything that I can use for pull-ups. Any ideas or replacement exercises for it? You can get yourself a doorway pull-up bar if you can find one. It they might be scarce. I was actually having a conversation with somebody today about doorway pull-up bars, and a lot of places are sold out, so they might be scarce. But depending on the situation that you're in, you may be able to rig up a homemade pull-up bar. Like, I'll give you an example. Like back in the day when I first moved into this house, our basement was not finished. So like you go down into the basement, and like there was just the rafters, the floor joists and the rafters and stuff like that. I set up a pull-up bar in the rafters of the basement. So, I mean, it was very simple to do. I literally just stuck a metal bar in the rafters and secured it in place so that it wouldn't move and wiggle around. And that's what I did my pull-ups for years. I did them from a bar in the rafters set up in the basement. So depending on what you have set up and what you have available, you can probably make a homemade pull-up bar pretty easy. It's not that complicated. It just has to be solid and secure enough to hold your body weight and high enough that you can actually do a pull-up. So, again, this really depends on you, your situation. I mean, if you can set one up in your house, great. Maybe you even set one up outside, right? That's great as well, right? You just get creative. There's probably a way for you to set up a pull-up bar if you really want to. Of course, if you can get one of these doorway pull-up bars, that's great. But when it comes to home gym equipment these days, a lot of the stuff is sold out. So you may not be so lucky to get that. But it wouldn't hurt to look, right? Even check out some of the classifieds, like Craigslist or eBay and whatever, like local classifieds, Kijiji, something like that, just to see if you can find them. Because you never know. You might be able to find something. Okay, Tommy's asking, have you ever heard about Mad Dog, and is he still mad at me? I have no idea. Thean is joining. What's the best type of cardio for fat loss or weight loss? The type you do. The best cardio is the one that you do and the one that you do consistently. From a calorie burning point of view, it really doesn't matter. Like you can burn calories from walking, you can burn calories from cycling, you can burn calories using cardio machines, you can burn calories swimming, jogging, whatever. Like it really doesn't matter. I switch it up all the time. I mean, my personal favorites are walking and bike riding, but if the weather sucks, then I'll do cardio machines. I've got an elliptical at home that I use when I'm allowed to go to the gym, right? I'll use the cardio machines there, and it could be a row or a step or a treadmill, a bike, an elliptical, a whatever. I mean, it all works. What matters is the fact that you're doing it and you're burning calories and you're creating a calorie deficit, right? Burning more calories through cardio, eating less food, and eating less calories through proper nutrition. That's what's going to burn fat, right? So it's not that one is better or worse or anything like that. It's just what you prefer to do and what you do consistently. It all works. All right. Good stuff. All right, I'm going to get ready to clue it up. Javier saying, thanks for answering his question. You're welcome. Good stuff. Ruwan's saying thank you as well. You're welcome. Gert said he was lucky to be able to find a pull-up bar at Walmart. Hey, if you got one, awesome. Good for you. I actually checked out Walmart's website today, and they were sold out of pull-up bars. But, I mean, if you found one in store, that's good. We have Ralph joining in. Saying high-intensity interval training is harder but less time-consuming. Regular is more time-consuming but less taxing. Okay, he's answering a question there about cardio, which is true, absolutely. I mean, high-intensity cardio, yeah, you're going to burn more calories in a unit of time, but it's also more stressful on the body, and you may not be able to do as much total cardio. Like, this is something that I'm just going to touch on this briefly before we clue it up. Like a lot of people think, oh, well, high intensity cardio is better because you burn more calories in the given unit of time. And that is true. If you go all out and you sprint for 10 minutes, you're going to burn more calories than if you walk for 10 minutes, right? Or if, technically you can't sprint for 10 minutes, but if you run hard for 10 minutes, all right, or if you do intervals for 10 minutes versus just walk for 10 minutes. But the thing is, that is more stressful on the body. Like it breaks down the central nervous system. It's more taxing. You just can't keep that up for as long a duration. Whereas the low intensity cardio, you can usually do it longer. So from a volume point of view, you may actually burn more calories with low intensity cardio because you can do it longer and you can do it more frequently without having the negative effects of its stress in your central nervous system or hindering your workouts. That's why I'm such a big fan of like the high intensity weight training and the low intensity cardio, because that low intensity cardio doesn't take away from my weight training. It actually helps to add to it. If I did high intensity weight training and then high intensity cardio, you're burning the candle at both ends because your body needs a break from the intensity, right? You just can't like go balls out with cardio and then go balls out with weight training and expect to recover, right? You're going to burn yourself out. Whereas that low intensity form of exercise, that gentle active recovery exercise, still burns calories, but it's rejuvenating. It doesn't stress your body. It doesn't break down your central nervous system. So that's why I'm a big fan of the low intensity cardio. And I find I can actually burn more calories and get leaner that way, and it's not as stressful on the body. What else we got? What is your opinion about waist belt and wrist grip bands to handle the bar? A waist belt? You mean like a weightlifting belt? I have videos about weightlifting belts. If you just do a search for Lee Hayward weightlifting belt, I've got a couple videos about that. And a wrist grip band to handle bar. A wrist grip band. I'm not sure what you mean, unless you mean like wrist straps that you would use to reinforce your grip when holding a barbell. Again, I've got videos about wrist straps as well. Just do a search for Lee Hayward wrist straps if that's what you're asking. Again, I could be wrong, but I don't really understand the question. Pogie Boots is joining in. Sorry if this has been asked, but how did your Wim Hof experiment go? I haven't really focused on Wim Hof. I don't even know what you would call it. Is it training? I don't know. But the whole cold exposure and the breathing. I did it hardcore for one winter. Actually, I did it hardcore for over a year, but I haven't really been prioritizing it lately. So, so no, I'm not. Like this past winter, I wasn't doing any of the crazy cold exposure, like out in the snow and stuff like that. So, I respect it and everything else, but it's still like you can only do so much, right? So, I mean, now I've been focusing primarily on just more consistent with my workouts, more consistent with my cardio, my training and stuff like that. So that's kind of like where I've been dedicating my energy and effort, not just freezing my ass off out in the snow. So because that takes up time too, right? Like you only have so much time to prioritize things, right? You like if you want to do something, like it's not like you have endless time to do everything. Well, I'm gonna meditate for an hour a day. I'm gonna work out for an hour a day. I'm gonna do cardio for an hour a day. I'm gonna do Wim Hof for an hour a day, and I'm gonna read for an hour. No, you only have so many hours in a day. So when I'm looking at like where I want to prioritize my time, that was one of the things I said. I did it for a couple of years, and I really found it helpful, and I appreciate it and respect it. But being a master of freezing my ass off and cold exposure, I mean, yeah, I could do it again. Like I did it. I mastered like lying in the snow for 10 minutes, buried up to my neck in snow and getting out in freezing cold water in the middle of winter and stuff like that. I mean, I did it, and it's crazy like how you build up your tolerance to it. But it's as I haven't been prioritizing it for the last year. I've been prioritizing other elements of my health and fitness, which I've been more happy with because it's allowed me to get leaner and focus on other things that are more important than just freezing my ass off. But again, for those of you who are interested, like what the heck is Lee talking about and who is Wim Hof and what is this? Just do a search for Lee Hayward Wim Hof. I have a video that shows where I talk about this whole thing when I was right in the middle of my going through Wim Hof training experience, if you will. All right, Lee is saying thanks again for the chat. You're welcome. I'm going to get ready and include up. We got one more question there, and this one's from Anthony. We're going to end it on this one. It says, is there any difference between pointing your feet in or out during calf raises? No, there's not. Don't get hung up in that crap. Like some people say, oh, you work your inner calves if you have your toes out, and you work your outer calves if you have your toes in, and you like just put your feet wherever feels comfortable for you. Seriously, like don't overthink it. I usually keep my feet straight ahead, like in a neutral position. That's what I do for calf raises. I just like a neutral position, shoulder width apart, and I don't overthink it. I don't change it up for every set or nothing like that. I just want a good solid base. And for me, having my feet straight forward with my toes securely planted on that foot plate, that's what works the best. And I do all my calf raises from one position. I don't go switching it up like toes pointed in for one set and out for another and straight for another. Like, no, seriously, it doesn't make any difference. Now, if you like one position than another for whatever reason, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, hey, do what feels the best for you, but you don't need to be switching it up. Just take whatever position feels the best for you and use that for your calf work. All right, so there we go. That concludes another video chat. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I always enjoy doing these video chats with you. And if you do have any questions or you would like some help with, you know, a customized meal plan, workout routine, or you just want to just brainstorm some strategies, send me an email. My personal email address is leeh@leehayward.com. Be more than happy to have a conversation with you in a chat. And if you like this video, please smash that thumbs up button. Give it a thumbs up, right? If you do enjoy it, I appreciate the support, and I'll be sure to do more of these videos. And there we go. I'm going to clue it up, and I will talk to you very shortly. If I'm over on the Facebook page, I'm going to be doing a live follow-along home workout over on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook page. So if you're up for a workout this evening and you would like to do that, head on over. It's going to be like a home workout using minimal equipment like bands and dumbbells and things like that. So if you're up for one, feel free to join me over on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook page. And there we go. I'm going to clue it up. Take care. Over and out.